thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to hopefully help grow your businesses, because I think that's what we're here for, right? We're here for a little success in business. And some of the things I'm going to talk about do overlap in your personal life as well, because it's social media. But we'll talk a little about social media. So for like 20 minutes, I'm going to go through this kind of fast, and then whatever questions that you have, please ask me for as long as time that we have. So one of the things that we do, whether it's in person or online, is we want to know about that business or person before we do business with them, right? And so how are the ways that we do that? Well, there's 5 ways that I think about. Is that in person? Here we're in person. So I got to know Wayne in person here, and then we set up and go skiing and stuff. So you develop that personal bond in person. Or the BNI way is also word of mouth. So maybe Wayne knows someone that he can help connect to me from a business basis or a personal basis. So that is in person. That's the BNI methodology for a number of decades now, right? And then the third way is old media, meaning kind of newspapers, magazines, lawyers in yellow pages or businesses in yellow pages. So then we get to the new media, and this new media is really over the last 10 years, because Facebook is 10 years old now. They started in 2004, for example. Other things that started, LinkedIn started in 2003. So most of social media is 10 years old, the big ones, okay, that we know about, think about. And then of course the 5th method is, when in doubt, just Google it, or Google them, whether it's a business or individual, if you want to know more about that subject, that person, that business. Okay, so we keep these things in mind, right? And then we think about in the context of BNI, how are we successful in BNI? Well, we're told that the formula for success or profitability is visibility plus credibility. So now, we are all visible in person. And we also want to think of, how do we develop our credibility? Maybe we tell the story about that satisfied customer that we've had. And that's a way that we develop credibility among ourselves, and also by word of mouth. If it's online, we're thinking about, how do we get visibility online? How do we get credibility online? And the social media that you may have used or know about would be something like Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn. And so let's talk a little about how we go and get that kind of visibility. What app do we use? What social media do we use? There's 10 zillion out there right now. And everyone's always coming up today or tomorrow with this new shiny object. Oh, have you done this? Have you done that? And you're there thinking, wait a minute, I can't even get through my freaking email list, okay? I have 100 emails here, I gotta get through them by the end of the day. So I'm really not concerned about this new Foursquare or Yelp or whatever these new social media things are. Okay, but what I'm gonna tell you is, you might wanna actually dip the toes in and try 1 or 2 of them. They don't really take that much time to kind of get a foothold in one of these social media and to start developing your online visibility and credibility. Okay, so let's look at, who are the big players? Who do you want to become associated with? Who's the big pool out there that's going to give you a lot of exposure if you know how to use it? And if we look at the web traffic around the world, we see that Google is +1. No surprise there, right? Google started in 1998 and it's done very well. A few billionaires have been created with Google. Now that also includes Google+. Google+, for if you haven't heard of it, it's kind of their answer to social media. You have these groups of people in Google+, kind of like Facebook, LinkedIn, in terms of its application. It's Google trying to capture social media. The second most popular web traffic is Facebook. 1.4 billion people have used Facebook around the world. What does that mean? It means 1 out of 5 people on this planet have used or viewed Facebook. 1 out of 5. So what does that mean to you? It means to you that you should know something about Facebook. Whether you have a business site or personal site, I'm not going to say no, you should. What I'm going to say though is you should know a little about it, because it's a shared experience out of 1 out of 5 people on the planet. Okay, so it does warrant some investigation, I think, on most people's part. Okay, what about YouTube? YouTube, first of all, is owned by Google. So Google likes itself, right, essentially. So you get a lot of Google juice. What's Google juice? It means that you're very searchable. You're going to show up in results when someone types in some keywords. Okay, so it's owned by Google, YouTube, and it's coming on very strong. Everyone's watching videos these days for a whole variety of reasons. to view a person's product or services, to view a testimonial, to view some training for a company or something. So everyone these days would prefer to click on the button and have that passive kind of edutainment. That's education and entertainment. That's the golden holy grail of video, is if it's educational for your business or service or you personally, and it's entertaining. The entertaining part is difficult to achieve. The other part is easier. Okay, so then we go and we have a number of Chinese companies, search companies that are like in position 4, 5, and 6. Now there's one other, I think, American company in there. And then we get to LinkedIn, which is number 8 in terms of web traffic. So LinkedIn is a very powerful vehicle for you to get that kind of online visibility and credibility. We'll talk just a little more about that. Wouldn't it be great if we could get these 4 working for us for free 24/7? In other words, for free, meaning that, no, don't pay Facebook ads, don't pay for ads on Google or whatever. Learn how to use the tool for free is how I prefer it anyway. Let's talk a little more about Google statistics. 55% of small businesses still do not have a website. What does that mean? It's hard to find it if you don't exist. Okay? You can't search for something that's not there. And so the backbone of any online strategy is to have a website. You don't have to have a big website. It doesn't have to be 50 pages and you paid a mint for it. It can be 1 page, 2 pages, but you should have a web presence. 80% of the traffic that we experience these days is local web searching. So what does that mean? It means that many people are looking for things locally. I might be looking for where to get color copies today, after this meeting because I have another meeting or something. So I'm searching local web searches to maybe find Ludlow Printing to be able to go and get color copies. So that's a very important thing to keep in mind as you develop your online presence. 75% of online searchers never scroll past the first page. What does that mean? If you're not on page 1, I'm sorry, but it's not working for you. Whatever you're doing is not working. You've got to be on page 1 because people don't scroll to page 2. I'm surprised it's even, I would think it's even more than 75%. Okay, if you take anything away from today's presentation, please take away that you should be thinking of keywords. Keywords that are searchable in Google, keywords that are searchable on BNI Connect, keywords that are searchable in LinkedIn, keywords that are searchable in Facebook. You must define your business in keywords to be online friendly. Okay, now, so what do? You type in Dale Johnston in Google. So I typed this in last night, got a slightly different result. What's the first thing that comes up? Yay, my website, Multimedia Pro. So if I want my online identity to be defined as my business, I want that to come up on number 1 out of the 10 million searches that it did in Connect Dale Johnston, okay? So I want to come up number 1, or on page 1, and I do, fortunately. The next things that come up is references to Dale Johnston in LinkedIn and Facebook. Now that's not me personally, that's a lot of Dale Johnstons, hundreds of Dale Johnstons that are in LinkedIn or Facebook. Now my goal is to get me broken out of that, and so I do break out as an individual. That's the goal. Okay, so I search on Dale Johnston, what do I find? I find my business website, number 1, which is good. What if I say Dale Johnston, my other identity, my other hat as professor? Or I'm not technically a professor, but it feels good because I'm short, builds up my self-esteem. I'm an adjunct, assistant, whatever. So anyway, so who comes up first with Dale Johnston? It's some person out in Los Angeles. And he gets the first 3 slots, which is really bothering me, okay? Because I'm in number 4, and that's not good enough. I got to get a gold, silver, or, I'm sorry? Gone by? Oh, excellent, thank you. I thought you were saying stop, please stop. And so why do I get that 4th in that position? There's a lot of Dale Johnstons out there. The reason I get it is because I have a website. Not too many faculty members across the country have a website or have it comprehensive enough and put enough content on it so Google says, hey, that's cool, and you keep on changing it every semester, so there's activity. Google loves that. It's almost like a blog, okay? So let's switch gears immediately now to LinkedIn and talk about LinkedIn. Over 100 million users in LinkedIn, which means that you might have an interest in it if you can utilize that tool well. 90% of people that use LinkedIn believe that it is improving their networking and their business results. In other words, it's kind of BNI-ish. Why are you here? You're here for networking purposes. You're here to grow your business. Okay, so it matches, it aligns very well. I think LinkedIn is the most underutilized social media right now. I think it's really going to keep on getting stronger and stronger and stronger gradually. I highly, highly recommend that you fill out your LinkedIn profile. It does not take long. Get something, but spend a little time. It is worth your investment. Okay, so if you're using LinkedIn or anything, any social media, keywords, 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 and I'll give an example of that. Okay, so I want to get an electrician. I'm here in Palmer. I'm sitting here in Palmer. I'm doing a search on LinkedIn. And there's three things I type in keywords. I type in electrician. I type in 01069 for Palmer zip code. I type in restricted to 10 miles. I want an electrician around here. I want to do business with a local business person. Okay, what comes up? Two people. Two people come up here, okay? And one of them's not even an electrician. Okay, one is, one's not. Didn't get a lot of results there, right? And but this is just showing you what happens with keywords. Next example. I broaden my search. I say electricians, it's a longer word than electric. So I'm going to shorten that search term so I should get more results. So what results do I get? I got 186 people when I type in electric. Electric, Palmer zip code, and in 10 miles. Now of those, some of them have nothing to do with an electrician. They're like for ISO New England, they're in electricity or something, right? So they're not even electricians. But I broaden my search to try to find them, right? Now, the next one is what we really want to get. And so I type in electric, I type in Palmer zip code, I type in 10 miles, and guess what? I think I met this guy at a meeting. His name's Gene. I think he's an electrician, right? He seemed like a nice guy. I might want to do business with him. But I didn't know any other details. Okay, so I type in electric, which I probably wouldn't. I would type in electrician. Okay, but if you type in electric and you give those 4 keywords, Gene will be the only one that comes up. Now, Gene comes up also because he's connected to me in LinkedIn on a certain level. Now, the way LinkedIn search results come up is that if you're directly connected to someone, like they're in your BNI group here, they're on your first level. If they're someone who you connected to a person, that's your second level. And so the results come out first level, second level in terms of when you actually see the results of a LinkedIn search. The instructions, by the way, Danielle, that the BNI gave that you sent me, they're incorrect. They're actually, the first steps are, it's not your fault, but I was just referencing that because BNI is under the BNI header, how to use LinkedIn to search for stuff. They got it wrong. Anyway, you have to go to the advanced search. Click on the advanced search in LinkedIn and start your search and type in these specific things. Why? Because what do you want to do as a chapter? How can I help you as a chapter? Is you go into LinkedIn, you click on the advanced search, and you say, hey, our chapter's decided to look for photographers, for example. Okay, so you go in there and you say, as a chapter, I want to look for photographers. So you go to LinkedIn Advanced Search, you type in photographer as a keyword, you type in 01069 for your location because you want people within driving distance, right? You type in, you select 10 miles, you can, if you don't get enough people, you go 20 miles. And I got 133 results here. Now, most of them are photographers, not all of them, because it's all about keywords. If you don't keyword yourself accurately, you don't come up accurately in searches. Okay, so here we have 133 photographers, supposedly. Maybe 100 of them are photographers. First one that comes up, for example, is Greg Moss. He's in my home chapter in Springfield, Partners in Prosperity. He's a photographer in the BNI group. Now, why does Greg come up first? Because Greg is connected to me on LinkedIn. So he's my #1 level, okay, kind of in my group. And then other photographers would come up. Maybe other photographers in other BNI chapters or whatever. Thank you very much. So the point is here, this is how your chapter can grow your chapter. Specifically, if you set up your LinkedIn profiles, even basic ones, so you can go and use the advanced search, you can search for whatever groups that you think are going to build your chapter. What's in your sphere? What's in your power group? What is going to benefit your chapter? It's very easy to go in and search geographically to find people like Gene or Dick, okay, in terms of LinkedIn, for example. Okay, now let's switch gears to Facebook. So Facebook has 1.4 billion people, 1 out of 5 people on the planet, which means that, yeah, you should at least know something about it. You at least know, so what are the grandkids doing with this thing? Or at least know something about it, because it's a kind of a shared experience that we have, as around the world now. Facebook has 60% of all mobile social traffic, meaning that people that are on their phones and all that kind of stuff, they're using Facebook a lot. 85% of smartphone users have a Facebook or Facebook app that they're using, so it's important. When you're in Facebook, again, keywords, keywords. Make sure you keyword your profile, whether it's personally or your business page. You can do two things. And by the way, when you get into Facebook, you always should start your personal Facebook page first and then add to it a business Facebook page. Do not go in and establish a business Facebook page before you establish your personal one. What is Facebook basically for? It's for you as a business or person to interact with people, family, friends, grandchildren, or to engage with your potential customers. It's interactive. Your website is to display all of your products and services that you offer, kind of have that professional, exactly how you want designed look and feel. So you ask Wayne, I want this look and feel, give me this type of, website kind of look and feel. And then you list your product and service. Facebook is set up for you. You only have a certain amount of control. Its structure is there. You have no control over it. Tomorrow they can change it, and you may be out of luck. Okay, so it is very important to understand the distinction between like a website and Facebook. Okay, so I do Dale Johnston space Facebook. What happens? It comes up with a group of Dale Johnstons in Facebook, and then if you're lucky, this second guy here is a specific Dale Johnston, which is not me, which of course means that I want to take over that position, to actually break out as an individual as opposed to a group. Here, it actually ironically shows my LinkedIn profile. So my LinkedIn profile has a little Google juice even though I'm asking for Facebook. So it's kind of weird. So I come up individually as a LinkedIn because I've done enough in LinkedIn to come up. Here's my Facebook page photograph. It is very, 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 very important that you have an excellent visual. It's very, very important you have a professional photograph, which was taken by Greg Moss. I'm not saying it's good, it's a face that only a mother could love if she were blind. But anyway, but you should have a professional photograph. You should have a really excellent photograph for your banner. This is a non-controversial one. Who doesn't like a nice fall foliage picture? Make it so that no one's going to be offended, all that kind of stuff, right? Okay, YouTube, finally. YouTube, 4 billion people view YouTube a day. 4 billion. Teenagers love it, of course. 50% of YouTube, teenagers say that's my favorite website. 40% of older baby boomers, like some of us in this room, also visit YouTube frequently monthly. Okay, so I use, for instance, YouTube to explain my products and services, but I use YouTube really for what's called Google Juice. Google likes itself. They own YouTube. They want to see something of your person or business presence in video form. That's why I'm doing it these days, because it gives you that really good presence. And that's why some of my stuff comes up in searches. Okay, now let's switch to a local social media. So you're saying, okay, I got those 4 covered, and you're saying, yeah, right, I'll be lucky again if I finish my email today, but I understand that. But dip into one of them, and I suggest LinkedIn. It's warm, it's fuzzy, it's easy to set up that profile. You start getting some traction for yourself on a business basis. And just keyword precisely correct. Throw in electrician, for example. Okay, Yelp. Yelp provides reviews of local businesses, providing that business visibility and credibility. So there's a lot of people that visit Yelp, and 98% of Yelp persons that are signed up purchase out of business. Meaning, if I'm signed up for Yelp, I'm likely going to get color copies maybe at Ludlow Printing, or do business with Gene if he's in Yelp. Okay, so a couple days ago, I filled out a review for Dick Kelleher for Ludlow Printing on Yelp. I gave him a 5-star review. In that. And so if I'm here in Palmer and I say, man, I got to get some color copies for this afternoon meeting, now what am I going to do? I'm going to search locally, right? Let's say I'm even unfamiliar with Palmer. I don't know where, forgive me for saying this, but I don't know where the Staples is located, right? So I'm going to type in some local social media thing to try to find out where can I get color copies fast. Okay, so I do that, right? I did that. So up here at the top, what am I looking for? What do I want to find up here? I want to find color copies. Where am I? Near Palmer, Mass. Number 2 comes up, Ludlow Printing Copy Center. And you see a 5-star review there because the 2 of us that reviewed it have given it 5 stars. Okay, so this is a way without much trouble the Kellehers can get on the map, literally on the map, the Yelp map, okay, and get some traction so that I don't go to Staples, that I go to Ludlow Printing. Okay, so in kind of summarizing here, in terms of this credibility. Credibility with these social media have different ways of establishing it. With Facebook, it's you have likes or people comment on your stuff, right? The more they like you, the more credible you are, right? And an easy way to do that is nice photographs and stuff, something non-controversial. You know, don't stay away from politics, that kind of stuff. You know, that would be controversial. In LinkedIn, you have endorsements. You can very easily give an endorsement to someone. So if I say Wayne's profile come up and it says, hey, you know, what's Wayne good in? He's good in design or whatever. I can click, you know, that yes, you know, I endorse him for design, for example. What about YouTube? YouTube is the number of views or comments and stuff that you got on YouTube. The more views you have, the more people think, wow, you must be, you know, excellent at what you do. And so you can develop your credibility that way. A video testimonial is the best. Let me give you a quick example. So I filled out the Yelp review, 5-star review for Dick Kelleher and Ludlow Printing. So in there, what does it show when someone goes online and look at a review? It says Dale space J, just my last initial. And then it says South Hadley. Most people don't believe those reviews. Sorry, but you know, most people don't believe all those testimonials. They think, oh yeah, someone made that up, you know, whatever. But if I did a video testimonial for Ludlow Printing, people are going to say, oh, that's a real person, you know, that really is giving a testimonial. It has much higher credibility value. Okay, so that's why I do recommend video testimonials. Okay, let's summarize in terms of what steps you might take to be more successful in social media. First of all, target audience keywords, not your keywords. You don't define yourself as electric if your customers view you as an electrician. You know, so you want to make sure that your profile has electrician or whatever in it, or wedding invitations or whatever, you know, you want to really keyword in so that they will hit you when they type that in. Don't think from your perspective, think from the person out there that doesn't know you. What are they doing right now to find you? Color copies, electrician, web designer, you know, something like that, realtor. You know, think of those, not how you think about it, how they think about it. Okay, and there's various ways you can find that out, what is going to be a good keyword. Create compelling content. Google is so super sophisticated these days that they evaluate everything. If you have a website and you stuff all these keywords on a one web page, they're going to penalize you. They're going to whack you because they know your keyword stuffing. If, on the other hand, you don't put enough keywords on that page on your website, they're not going to find you. They're going to say, well, I can't really figure out what this person does. You know? So you have organic content, meaning you really be descriptive about your business or services. You put the appropriate percentage of keywords into a paragraph or onto a page. That's what gets Google excited about putting you on page 1 or number 1. Okay, you should also have a calendar for posting. Just like you have other things, you have a BNI meeting, right? Every Thursday morning. You should have a social media posting time at some time, some hour during the week. You got to put it on your calendar, or believe me, and I'm a case in point, I don't get it done. You know, I got to put it on my calendar, like, you know, other things, or it's not going to be done. And guess what? And this has happened to me. Like 3 months later, I say, oh, I haven't posted in 3 months to whatever that is. Oh, I'm going to look really professional, right? Yeah, great. It's very difficult, absolutely. Oops, just hit that in. And then post your content, and then analytics means review what you've done. Is it working for you? Are you number 1, you know, on page 1? You know, if you're not, well, can you do something that doesn't take a lot of time and a lot of money and effort to work yourself closer to that result? Okay, so in summary, think keywords. I don't care what it is. Google, if it's the social media, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. And these are the 4 that I'd recommend that you start with. And you probably don't have to go further. If you have the time or resources to go on Yelp or Foursquare or these other local searches, yeah, it's probably worth your time. And if you do that, dedicate that hour every week, you know, you'll get a profile and a new one started, and it'll start to give you a little traction. So social media can give you visibility and credibility, just like BNI's other disciplines, and therefore profitability. And that is it. Did I finish on time? Super. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. And do you have any questions?